What up, 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 and what up some more? It is a late night here on the East Coast as we come to you live with Brooklyn Beards and Ball. It is in the evening time on the West Coast, and we are here, my good friends. How is everybody doing there tonight? Brooklyn Beards and Ball, we are in the building. It's Rod, it's Don, and you're looking at two people who are cheering for teams that won't be around in January. But nevertheless, we are here and we are ready to co-host together and talk about what life is going to be like in January. I want to help my good brother out here because I've been kind of used to it, and Don has never been in this place before. It's been some time, people. So we're going to go easy on my good friend Don tonight as he still processes the season and just all the would have, could haves, and should haves, and then just all of the things that have just gone wrong for the San Francisco 49ers in this year of just forgetfulness. Just put this season in the sea of forgetfulness, if you will. But nevertheless, like, subscribe, share, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We got IG. We got, what else we got, Don? We got it all. I mean, we're on quite a few platforms here,
Yeah. We got IR. We got season-ending injuries. We got everything. We got a coaching hire. We got a search for a new defensive coordinator. We got a lot of stuff going on. So yeah.
Oh gosh.
All that and we'll discuss some football too. But we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. But hey, listen, it's all good. Rod, I'm not going to let him steal my joy. He wants to steal my joy, and not today. Not today. Listen, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, week 13. This season as a whole has not turned out, obviously, as a 49ers fan, how I anticipated it. But I will say this. Week 13 was very bad. I think it was already a long shot for us to beat Buffalo in Buffalo, and it turned out to be a snow game. That was already tough. That was already insurmountable, if you will. But CMC, I will say this. His injury, I put it solely on Kyle Shanahan. 100%. Now, I've heard people on X, and people may disagree with what my assessment of it, but it's totally on Kyle Shanahan. If someone is dealing with injuries, and they have been out for now, regardless, we see that he banged his knee on what seemed to be concrete, right? Because it was just ice, right? So we understand that. My point is, with Jordan Mason playing the way he played all season long in CMC's absence, why would you, when CMC first comes back, and I understand he's a better running back than Jordan Mason, but he wasn't when he came back. Right? So why not utilize him and utilize both backs? Just think of how many teams that are successful are using two running back tandem. Look at Detroit, for example. They have two highly efficient running backs, and they don't miss a beat. Nobody feels any type of way about it. And as you can tell, they're very successful. Their run game it mirrors what ours used to be. Why didn't Kyle Shanahan start CMC slow? First game out the gate, 20 plus touches. Yeah. You just can't do that. And I get it. He's getting paid the big money. And if, sometimes you have to save players from themselves. CMC might be like, yeah, let me do it. Give me the workload. He's used to his whole career. He's been a workhorse, right? Even going back to when he was with Carolina. So we get it. But at the end of the day, you have to be smart about it. It wasn't like, yes, Mason is not the receiver out of the backfield that CMC is. Well, why you couldn't, as smart as you are and as brilliant as you are offensively, you couldn't figure out how to have both of them in at the same time and utilize both of their skill sets to prolong them.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, at the game, CMC looked amazing. He looked like the CMC of old. He had burst. They were, and it seemed like they were going to maybe go with the suggestion, not to the same degree, but we were saying that Mason needs to be involved in that. You need to run, and run.
Right.
And so they looked good because you can run on Buffalo. And we have the schemes. We have, the players. We just didn't have the health to do it. And so CMC looked extremely good starting off. And then after that hit, after he landed, squarely on his knee, it was all downhill. He just, tried to make that next run and kind of just gave it up, right?
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, for those that don't know, and I'm sure everyone knows by now, CMC is on IR for 6 weeks, which tells you he's done for the year, right? You're not bringing him back.
No question.
And then to add insult to injury, Jordan Mason gets a high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
And so, and let me be honest, we have a stable of running backs where you could have really used all three. Garindo is a good running back. He runs a 4.3. So why couldn't you have sprinkled Garindo in, have Mason between the 20s, and then have CMC in the red zone, or any combination thereof, as we always say? Why couldn't you use that as a combination to maximize and extend your players, especially when you don't have Trent? You don't have Trent, right? So why would you? All right, so that protection, those holes are not going to be as they normally would be. So then that higher workload is going to be whoever you have as the only sole feature back. So why wouldn't you mix it up? And I just don't understand it. As far as the team is concerned, I mean, mathematically we're not out of it, but I mean the amount of help that we would need would just be ridiculous. And if we do, because on cue, I will say this, on cue, Arizona does what Arizona does, right?
I agree.
And so we do have Seattle. I'm not a believer in either one of those teams, so I don't really think that from that standpoint, it's beyond belief that we could still win the division. Mm-hmm. But for what? What are we going to bring? Like, they're talking about Mafunga coming back and talking about Greenlaw. But if we're not going to, if Kyle Shanahan is not going to be smart about it and really understand that this team is not the team, we lost major pieces. And I just want to take a moment to, just send some prayers to Trent Williams and his family. I mean, they're dealing with a loss. I mean, just think about, we've had 2 players on the team lose children, young children. Yeah. You have injuries you're dealing with. So you have to think outside the box. And Kyle was acting like it was business as usual. Like, we just going to, CMC, listen, the cast, you just got the cast off or whatever it was. And, you're just coming through out of sedation, but we're going to give you 35 carries no matter what. It doesn't matter what you were just doing. And so it doesn't make sense to me that you would operate that way because, as a result, it hurts the team. Yeah. And it was a difficult and it was a difficult game. It was more than a long shot for us to even win that game. We had the game plan to run the ball. That would give us our best opportunity to beat them. But then, of course, just like anything else, once a team understands that you're wounded and you're just, you're pretty much done, then teams just show off then. Then they start doing stuff. And, throwing the ball and slapping it and lateraling it back to them and getting, a touchdown, a receiving pass. They do everything. The cycle. They bunting the ball and hitting a triple. They're doing it like, multiple sports on you once
Right,
they realize
multiple sports,
they
right?
can't do anything, right? I mean, just like when Brock Purdy got hurt, what the Eagles did to us. They just started showing out. When they knew that we didn't have a quarterback, they just started doing whatever they wanted.
Right.
And we were in that same vulnerable position where we didn't have a running back. And then two of our now Garindo gets the ball and he looks decent because he's a strong back. He runs 4.3. Those are the type of, there's a lot of stuff that we have to do. The contracts are hurting us. And as I said, somebody said on this show, somebody on this show with a beard said that Brock Purdy is not going to get $60 million. And that is all you're hearing now. Brock will not get $60 million. They even put where they had an interview with him and he's like, yo, I'm about, family. And yes, you're going to be about family because you're not getting $60 million. You're going to get from 800 or 900,000 to 35, 40 million. But there's going to be too many free agents out there to pay him $60 million. You would be better off getting a bridge quarterback for 1 year, paying him 40, 45 million, and drafting someone for cheap and letting them then paying him a 250 million dollars over. It's not going to happen. Kyle Shanahan, not on his watch. He's not going to do it. We have, and I'll pass it to you. We have contracts these contracts are, very difficult contracts. You got Hargrave, who we're paying a ton of money to. You have, of course, Debo, who, his claim to fame now is whatever pregame outfit that he's wearing. That's the focus now. So we've just gotten away from being the 49ers that everyone has loved and as Niner fans loved and expected, and that other teams feared. Nobody fears us anymore. Now, yes, they know that we still have, the players when healthy, but because we're not healthy, no one fears us, right? Defensively, he has to go. We need Salah back if Salah's interested. Anybody else, Sorensen is terrible. He's terrible. That's why he's wearing a hat and shades all the time. You don't want to see his eyes. He can't look anybody. He can't look 49er fans in the eyes, and he shouldn't even be looking the players in his eyes because he is not doing anything. He's just there. He's just a guy. And as a result, defensively, believe it or not, even as bad and as injured as we are, we're still not bottom feeders in total offense or total defense. We're still there, but we just can't get it together because the defense can't stop anyone. So I say all that to say, as far as Brock Purdy is concerned, the $60 million will not happen. And I think that it's going to boil down. We're going to be smart about it. Yeah, what's going on, Terrence? And we're going to be smart about what we do, obviously, right? We need offensive line help. We need some of those big contracts to go away. And I think it's going to be an overhaul. Like they're going to, now, obviously we know certain positions we still have them in contract and we still want to keep them. Ideally, if CMC has the time to really rest and get his body straight, we would love to have CMC back, right? There might be some restructuring that people will have to do in order to keep the team. But if Brock Purdy says, hey, this is what I need, this is what the market states, and I'm next man up, and I did this XYZ, right? I think his base pay is right now, in my opinion, would be $40 million. Okay, laugh. Let me tell you why. Kyle Shanahan, whether he's being hubris or not, believes that he can plug and play anybody in his offense. That's what he thinks. So what I'm saying to you is now that a lot of players are injured, it's going to matter what Brock does with a depleted team If Brock plays at a high level with a depleted team, he'll probably get, high 40s, low 50s. That's it. That is it. But you will see. You will see. We do not operate like the Cowboys. We don't overpay just to overpay. Someone's going to have to perform, and if the coach, difference. The owner of the team doesn't get involved in player personnel like that. They trust the coach. They trust the GM. And if the GM says we can get this same production for much cheaper or on a one-year deal or a bridge quarterback, that's exactly what they'll do. But I'll give the floor to you. What do you say?
Well, Don, listen, America, what you're listening to is a man who is speaking from a place he just hasn't been in for a long time. Don has been used to Super Bowl appearances, going deep into the playoffs, just playing at a high level. I mean, this time last year and the year before, Don was riding high. Niners were definitely the most dominant team in the NFL, for that matter, not just the NFC, the NFL, for all intents and purposes, right? They played well. They dominated defense, run game, quarterback play, receivers, whatever you want to name, coaching, GM, the way their organization is ran. The Niners were pristine and they were class A, and they still are. And let me say a couple things here, and I'm going to tell you why you're going to end up paying Brock Purdy. Nothing less than 55. I think you'll get 60, but nothing less than 55. And here's why. Number one, you talk about cleaning up the team, right? Contracts and stuff. The reality is that, yeah, some guys are either going to restructure or some guys are just going to go, right? Because you got to create space. And why do you need to create space? And why is it that it's important for the Niners to start to reevaluate I won't say bad contracts, but guys who are obviously up in years? You got to take a look at like you were saying, Kittles, though I think is still a very, very highly productive tight end. Debo, yeah, you might look at him. And again, excuse me, America, for not really speaking intelligently to the contractual situation of knowing all of the nuances and the details of the contracts. But at the end of the day, like you said, CMC might get restructured. Maybe Trent,
who's going to be 37, by the way. He's going to be 37.
You might,
and he's playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. You're right. I mean, he's and the thing is with Trent, the injuries is an issue, right? So even if when he's out there, he plays good, but he's not the Trent of old, right? He might be a little bit like Zach Martin, right? Zach is going to most likely, from what they're saying, he may not retire, but Dallas is definitely going to move on from him. We're going younger.
Well, he's better than Zach, so he's better than Zach. They're both Hall of Famers.
I don't know. I mean, he might be a little bit better than this is Zach Martin's worst season of his career. Zach probably will go down as the top 3 right guards that ever played a game of football in the history of football. Like that, you're going to show a little more deference to Zach Martin, bro. All right. Now, I know my team is bad and everything else. You talk about Dak and CD, but you're going to respect Zach Martin. Okay.
Zach Martin. I understand. Zach Martin is a Hall of Fame player.
Yes, he is.
But his decline has started.
One season. He played well last year. He was a Pro Bowl last year. Okay. This year, due to injuries, because he's played with a lot, he's played hurt. That's the reason why he's declined, because he's playing hurt. Much like Trent. Trent's playing hurt. Trent is, he's out there. He's still definitely better than most guys in his position, but he's getting long in the tooth. And so when you look at the future of the Niners, that's where you're going to start first, right? You're not going to, the first thing you're going to do is not look how you're going to replace or try to avoid paying Brock Purdy. Okay.
Well, we don't have to pay him next year. We don't technically. We don't have to pay him next year.
So right. So what do you think you're going to do? What are you going to do? If you don't pay him a contract, you're going to end up. You're going to have to franchise tag him. That's what you're going to end up doing.
He has one more year. He has one more year where he
can. He has one more year. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Look, he might. Well,
and then we can franchise him if we want to do that. There is no rush to give him $60 million.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you why, and here's why you're gonna need. Number one, Purdy's 29-12 as a starter. You're 0-2 without him. The truth of the matter is, you think Shanahan wants to be the Colts or the Raiders or the Titans? You think that's what he wants to be? You think he wants to even the Steelers for that matter, right? Because there's no long-term future in Russell Wilson. At some point, either he's going to decline or move on, and he only got 1 year deal anyway, right? So the bridging that you're talking about that you're going to do, they don't have time for the bridging.
Of course,
the Niners got to win. The Niners want to win like now. They're not in rebuild. Here's the tricky part with your team.
Yeah,
you got to be careful not to go rebuild mode all the way, because you still have players that could still perform, and you still right. So you can't just go.
What part of that is rebuild? What part is rebuild? I said that instead of jumping out the window and paying $60 million to a quarterback, and then you got to let everyone go, you can get a cheaper quarterback, i.e. Kirk Cousins.
No, you get cheaper other players that you could plug and play. You don't get a cheaper quarterback because
listen.
You think Kyle Shanahan, you don't think he found his quarterback? You don't think that Lynch
not for $60 million. Not for $60 million.
You ain't paying him no $40 million. You can't disrespect that man and give him $40 million, D. No way. Do you know what the player's on a $40 million contract? Are you saying that he is in the middle of the pack in terms of quarterback play when this man has gotten you to both an NFC championship and into a Super Bowl, and was not the reason why you lost those games, and he's the reason why you even got to the Super Bowl last year? He put you on his back.
So if he is that reason, we should see that over the next 5 games. The next 5 games is going to determine if he gets upwards of $50 million or not.
Yeah. No. Okay. I think you'll see. And here's the thing. I think Brock Purdy will perform. I think he's a good quarterback. Now,
I think so too, but not $60 million.
But D, you got to go with your market. See, you got, and then you got to remember, there's going to be more money coming to the salary cap. There's going to be some, and what they're going to do, they're going to create space for Brock, because again, you're going to let go of some guys. You're going to restructure some contracts. Why? Because you got to pay him, and you're not going to pay him $40 million. That's a slap in the face. Trust me, you're not going to do it. If you paid Ayuk what you paid him as a top, 5 receiver in the league, you're definitely going to pay Brock Purdy. There's no question about it. He's going to get nothing less than $50 million. I say nothing under 55, and I'm still almost sticking to my $60 million. They're going to pay him some money because you're going to restructure contracts. You're going to let guys go because at the end of the day, Donald, and he's healthy. He's, for all intents and purposes, he's been somewhat of a healthy quarterback. He was
out again for the
how many games he missed this year? 1 game.
I think 1 game. Yeah, he missed one game.
That's it. So
let me ask you. You're saying, so let me get this straight. You're saying that Brock Purdy is going to get paid at the end of this season. They're going to open up the checkbook.
Because if you don't, because here's the key.
No.
Trust him to play another season and he balls out again. Oh, you're going from, you're right. He ain't going to get $60 million. He's going to get $70 million, because you don't do what Dallas did. Don't take a shot and try to get
we won't do what Dallas did. We'll never do that.
You better sign him now. You better sign. This is the year you want to be able to secure your quarterback position and to keep your team solidified as a bona fide contender. You got to sign Brock Purdy at the end of this year. You mess around and go another year without Purdy, I'm telling you. And Shanahan, like, you think he can bring somebody in to plug and play? You're not plug and playing that quarterback. You want to go back to Garoppolo? You want to go back to Trey Lance, who you spent, you traded up to get, only to come to find out he's not that quarterback?
He wasn't the guy.
He wasn't the guy. And I'm going to tell you the truth. You're not going to be able to plug and play a quarterback in there. D, how many teams, except 2 that I know of off the top of my head, between Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer, who won Super Bowls on mediocre, or as a mediocre quarterback, because they were on all-world defenses? Even Jim McMahon would be another one with the Bears, because those defenses were just otherworldly, okay? But at the end of the day, you're not going to have that with the 49ers, because Brock Purdy is not that guy. He's not that kind of quarterback that you think you're going to be able to win without him. You can't just plug and play some rookie or somebody you're going to get on a cheap contract. No, it ain't going to work like that. He's going to be. So you don't think a veteran? You don't think we can get a veteran quarterback for cheaper than the per year and draft someone, give them a year, and who are you going to get? They talk about Kirk Cousins. You're going to go back and get Kirk Cousins? You think Kirk Cousins is going to be?
He's familiar with the offense for sure.
And so he was familiar in Washington too. And what happened in Washington? They didn't do nothing in Washington. What did he do in Washington? He put up good numbers in Washington, but he didn't do nothing stellar. What did he do in Washington? He did nothing. He won some games in Minnesota. He is a glorified Dak Prescott. He's going to give you numbers. He's going to win you some regular season games, but he can't win when it matters. He's not a playoff quarterback. And you don't need – Purdy is way more of a playoff quarterback than both Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, really? You see what he look like in Atlanta? You going to pay him another $50 million? He has a $100 million guaranteed contract in Atlanta. So he gets another year of $50 million. So unless the Falcons going to pick up some of that, nobody's touching him.
That would be – I mean, they would have to pick up some of his – They would have to eat the majority of his contract. So let me ask you a question. Purdy for 50, or let's just say Kirk Cousins for 30. Who would you take?
I'm taking Purdy for 50 because he's younger. He's going to be he's my franchise quarterback, okay? And I can win games with him. And he's proven to win at the level he's at. So if he's winning as a Mr. Irrelevant, how much more you think he's going to improve and become better as a quarterback? He can win you games, and he can get you in the playoffs and win in the playoffs. And he's cool under pressure. Like you cannot specify any particular play of his that he was culpable for any loss or the Niners coming up short in a game. Wasn't him.
So my thing is once again, when you don't, now that this team is completely decimated, and I'm a Brock Purdy fan. So I'm just,
I don't know. You want to pay him $29?
I'm a 49ers fan. See, I don't get caught up in specific players and this person's near and dear. No.
Pay him?
We don't want to be cap poor. That's the only problem.
You won't be cap poor.
We're gonna have to unload. We're gonna have to unload a lot of players.
But you need to unload players anyway. So
no, of course, absolutely. But will we be as good with those
anyway? So why would you?
Will we be as good with those good players offloaded? Is the question.
Those are guys you can plug and play. Those are guys that you can get in there and you can develop them and get them into the system, right? Because think about
it. You can't plug and play, Trent. You just can't get another Trent, immediately.
I mean, no, what Trent is he's rare, but you could still win a Super Bowl without having a Trent. You could still win. I mean, Trent is that's a guy. Obviously, he's not a dime a dozen. He's a rarity. He's a generational type player, right? But you could still win. You can still bring another good, serviceable left tackle. And I mean, look at what we did, right? Tyron Smith, after a Hall of Fame career, he moved on. And, even though he don't play left tackle, he did in college, but he made All-Pro in his rookie year was Tyron Smith. Like, we can draft offensive linemen. You can trust me, if Dallas can draft Hall of Fame type offensive linemen like we have in the last 10 years or so, then certainly Lynch and Shanahan can. You can easily place Trent Williams. He's not. That's a guy you can replace. You can replace him. Your running back situation, you could get guys in there.
Running backs, I'm not even concerned with. We'll be fine.
You got running backs, and you still got them under a good deal, and you can restructure CMC's contract. Mason is still on a rookie deal. So I'm saying you got
and Garendo's not getting paid nothing.
So that's what I'm saying. So you got money to pay Brock, and you're going to most likely get rid of Debo. You're going to look at your defensive side. I don't know all the contract statuses over there, whatever the case might be. I don't know what Greenlaw's contract is looking like. The main
he's going to be a free agent. Greenlaw is going to be a free agent.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to be restricted or unrestricted. So I think if the team is going to make a move to get better, that they have to do, in my opinion, they need to do two things. They need to get leaner as it pertains to salaries, and they have to get younger. We're an older team with high salaries. A lot of our skill position players are in the top 5, definitely top 10 in their position as far as pay is concerned. So we have to be smart about that. And it's not about just piling on for 1 year of success. And then if it doesn't work, you're back to the drawing board. You have to create
franchise quarterback. You looking at Purdy. You got to look at Purdy long term.
But he's but the quarterback is the largest chunk of
that's on any team. But that's D.
No, that's not on any team. That's not on any team. Look at the Texans. I mean, I'm giving you players.
Texans are now because he's still on a rookie deal, but you don't.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to.
A little bit. He's going to eat up the cap when it's time to get paid.
So, but it affords you, unless you're supremely gifted it affords you the opportunity to surround highly skilled players around said quarterback. Let me tell you, Brock Purdy has a lot of intangibles, but I don't put him in the same stratosphere with the people that you would have to play in the Super Bowl.
He's not Mahomes.
Right? So you have to prepare for those people. If you are facing, let's say, a Josh Allen in the Super Bowl, if you're facing a Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, if you're facing a Lamar Jackson,
so did he not face those? Did he not face Mahomes? And did he not face Goff and other guys that he had to play against? And did he fare well in the Super Bowl? I mean, I don't think Brock Purdy played bad in the Super Bowl. I mean, he played well. He ain't got to stop Josh Allen. He don't play defense. So I'm saying it ain't gonna be on him if those guys.
That's not the. He just because he doesn't play Josh Allen, you have to match offense for offense. And you don't think he can score, so you mean to tell me this man? Clearly he has not shown you anything. And to Papa's question here, who do you think? What other quarterback in the NFL would have made a difference for the Niners' season record? Like who else is out there that would have done? This is the point. You guys are missing what I'm saying. Brock Purdy is a very good quarterback, and he works in our system. Not for $60 million. You guys are missing the point that I'm saying. Not for $60 million. He is a great quarterback.
So you gonna pay him $40 million?
He's not 60 though. All I'm saying is he
ain't getting.
He's not setting the market.
I promise you, he's going to get under 55 million.
He is not going from 900,000 to 60 million. No way, no how.
They are going to restructure contracts. They are going to look at everything with high scrutiny, and they're going to make sure that they have enough money to pay the quarterback. He is your future. He is your franchise quarterback. And you are not going to disrespect that man with a $45 million contract per year.
Disrespect me with $45 million. Disrespect me with $45 million a year. Disrespect me with a $45 million a year contract.
You're looking at it like, hey, he's making $10 an hour, so anything above that would be great. See, that's an ownership mentality for you.
No.
That ain't how the Niners are looking at this.
No, the team is going to have to be fiscally responsible.
They're going quarterback.
Yeah, he's a top 10 quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback.
James said he'll give him 70 because the market is going to go up. And
James is talking about 70 pounds. He's giving him 70 pounds. We're talking in U.S. currency. We can't give if hopefully the 70 pounds or 70 million pounds converts to 45 million. I hope that's what the conversion rate on that dollar is, because we can't afford to have a team that can compete.
You can't afford that. You can't afford it.
We can afford it. I'm not saying we have the cap space.
You can get, that's what I'm saying.
But what are you putting around him is my question. What are you putting?
What you're going to do is you're going to still, you got your number one receiver, right? You got him. Okay. You got Persall.
So we're not giving him
Jennings.
Yeah,
right?
We're not giving him more than 70. Go ahead.
Kittle, if you're going to bring him back, you still got a CMC and a Mason back there.
Okay.
Like James said, you change out your left tackle, you bring somebody else in, you can get another left tackle, either a free agency,
what defense? What offense is never our problem. Defense. Huh? What are we doing defensively? We need defensively, that's where teams are eating us up.
Well, technically, the Niners defense actually hasn't been bad this year, if the truth be told. As far as when you look at statistically, the Niners, they're still a top 10 defense.
Yeah, I think that is.
And that's what guys actually hurt. So I don't know what Mustafa and all these other guys that y'all got to bring in, and Hufanga and Boombanga and Bingbanga, bringing all these guys back in, what their contract status is. I don't know. I know you signed Ward. I don't know what who's the most important player on defense is. Fred Warner. I don't know what you're going to do with him. I don't know what his contract status is. So you'll pay $65 million to a star quarterback that doesn't fit a system, which will lead to no Super Bowl. Right.
No.
Look, Donald's saying pay somebody $30 million to come in here and think they're going to do what Purdy did.
So let me ask you a question. And we agree to disagree on this. I'm saying that Brock Purdy is balling out. He is balled out. But he has had a full arsenal of players. Yeah. If Brock Purdy gets 60 million, as it's been suggested, 70 million euro, whatever, if he gets that money, do you know though that players are going to, even with restructuring, even with the sports package deal that has more cap space, some of those players are going to have to disappear. And so what I'm saying is, yes, we can use Brock Purdy. We can keep Brock Purdy, but not at the expense of the entire team's success. And that's all I'm saying. Because look at, perfect example, since you brought it up, look at the Cowboys. You have two players that are responsible for a huge portion of your cap. One is out for the season, and the other one, because there is no help. Yeah, Brandon Cooks came back, but because there's no significant help, yeah, he has 880 yards, but for the most part, he's been stifled the entire year. So that's my point. We don't want to be top heavy as it pertains to certain skill positions and the quarterback, and then have nothing. Our team is barren around him.
Okay, so when you look at, I just pulled this up on Spotrac. Okay, Bosa's good to 28. Ayuk is good to 28. Warner's contract ends after next year in 2026. Okay. All right. So he's averaging $20 million a year. He got guaranteed 27.5 at the signing. Okay. His practical guarantee is about $40 million. Okay. His average salary is about 20. All right. So you got him coming up after next year. So he has another year in his contract to play. He could hold out. Who knows? Right. So you got a concern there. You said Hargrove. His contract ends at the end of 2026 too. Same thing like Warner. All right. Okay. I think he's got a practical guarantee of $40 million left in his contract. He got a guarantee at signing of $40 million, and his average salary is $21 million. Okay. So something to look at there. I don't know how they would do that. So you got Warner, and then you got Hargrove. Okay. You got Trent Williams. Most likely you're going to try to restructure, do something with him. All right. His contract also ends at the end of 26. So these guys still got another year on their contract, but I'm sure they're going to want to get another extension somewhere. So who knows? They could hold out. We don't know what they'll end up doing, but I'm sure that that's going to be an issue. Outside of him, D, you don't really have.
Wait a minute. There's a lot of players you didn't mention.
Okay.
So tell me what Kittle, Debo, CMC, Trent.
Okay, I'm going to tell you now. Trent's 2026. That's when his contract ends. Kittle's ends after the end of this year. Okay? Something to look at. Okay? He signed his contract in 2020, 2025. After this year, he is, I don't know if that's it's the one more. Let me see, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25. Right. So at the end of 2025, his contract year ends in 2025. Now, I don't know if that's the end of the 2025 season or is it in the year 2020. I
think he recently re-upped. They restructured. Remember, he was holding out for a little bit. So I think they gave him an additional year. So I would think it would be the end of next season.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So? Okay. I think so. His contract is for 5 years. He signed it in the start of 2020 and it ends in 2025. It's a 5-year contract at $75 million. His average salary is $15 million. He got guaranteed 30 already. And then he practically has another $40 million on his contract. So I don't know if it says practical guarantee, which means it's not all guaranteed. So that's because it's all about the guarantee money, right? It ain't about the value of the contract as much as it is about the guarantee. Okay. You got Debo Samuels. Again, he has a 3-year contract signed in 2022. His contract ends in 2025. Okay. $71 million. He's getting $23 million a year. Okay.
Exactly.
He had $41 million signed, guaranteed at the signing, and then he's got another $58.1 that's practical guaranteed. All right. You got Ward, who ends this year, 2024. So he's gone. I don't know if he's gone or what. I don't know what you guys are going to do with him. Okay. All right. So he's got $40 million.
We just signed Lenore to a $90 million contract.
You signed Lenore, so Lenore's not going anywhere. So you know he's
right,
there.
but we're talking about money, though. We're talking about cap space.
Yeah, but that's but Lenore's what? Right, you got to pay a corner. You got to pay a corner, a DN, I guess in your case, a linebacker with Fred Warner, right? You got your receiver locked up. So you got guys locked up. Your key positions are locked up. CMC is locked up. So you're either going to restructure, but you're going to let some of these other guys go. You know what I'm saying? You can let some of these other guys go. I don't know what their hit would be if they still got another year in the contract. If you cut them, what implications that would have to your cap, your salary cap. I don't know. I'm not a capologist. I couldn't go into all the details. Maybe we have to invite somebody on the show who could talk a little bit more about that. But what I'm saying is that, though, D, is that your quarterback, you're not giving enough credit to. You are not honoring this man who has played Mr. Irrelevant. You see, and that's how everybody does. Oh, Mr. Irrelevant. Look at him. He's great. He's this, that, until it's time to pay. And then when it's time to pay, now it's, you know what? We can just get a guy from my job. I saw this guy, kind of tossing the ball around, in the back, in the backyard. I saw it on Instagram. He might be a guy we can use. Now, see, no. You got to pay. Now it's, Purdy is not all that. He's okay. We could bring, you said Kirk Cousins. You almost now can't even put him in the same sentence with almost anybody now. You can't put Kirk Cousins in the same sentence with Brock Purdy.
Because he had a bad outing last week. He's not. He's been proven to be a quarterback that's not going to take you over the hill, and he's not a quarterback he's not really a true franchise quarterback. He's not. He's been a journeyman for all intents and purposes because he's going. Atlanta starting Penix next year, so you can. Oh, exactly, and that's the reason we could potentially get him for dirt cheap.
But bringing him, but first of all, he's old or getting old. You're going to pay him another $50 million.
No.
Yeah, no, because his contract, he has another $50 million.
No, we're gonna have Atlanta eat it because Atlanta can afford to eat his contract. So get some of it, some cap relief, some salary relief, and pay Penix. They ain't paying Penix no money. Play Penix for cheap. So it's a win-win.
What do you think you're going to get? It's a win-win. So what win-win you going to get?
No. So it's a win-win for Atlanta. Let me tell you why Atlanta would be incentivized.
Well, Atlanta would win. Yeah, we know that side, but I don't see what benefits the Niners bringing in a Kirk Cousins, right? And you would bring him in next year with Purdy still having another year in his contract, okay? So you're going to diss Purdy and bring in a Kirk Cousins, and he going to start over Purdy?
Why is it this? It's everyone understands that it's
James.
These players, that's why we knock players, and I'm all for players holding out and making sure they get their money, but it's a business. At the end of the day, if they feel, whether it's we look eye test and all that.
Oh my God.
But if we think if the team thinks, you know what, we can get this same production for less than 60 million, I'm all for them going for that. I'm not a big fan of them paying the top dollar to get Purdy. I'm not a fan of that.
Space for Purdy, which they should. And
okay, what else is around him? I'm only concerned with what's around him.
Here's the guys that you need to keep around him. Anybody else you could plug and play. You make sure Warner's there, right? You make sure Warner's there.
Warner, okay.
And then you got you want to make sure at the end of the day, if all truth be told, really, he might be the only one. You might want Hargrove there, I guess, right? You want Hargrove.
We want to unload Hargrove. We want to unload him.
Greenlaw ends here. He's a free agent this year. So Greenlaw, because he signed a contract 2 years ago, his contract ends this year. $8 million. He makes in those 2 years. It was he signed a $16 million contract. So it was $8 million a year. And he got and check this out. He got
and one Super Bowl appearance for less than $2 million. Now they're trying to take away his rifle.
Exactly. It's time to pay, and they don't want to pay. D was loving Purdy. Purdy was playing in that championship game. Eagles was going to the Super Bowl.
I agree.
But now you don't want to pay the man. You got to pay the man. You got to pay.
Now, if we're honest, I have been saying, even with the highs, even with the Super Bowl, even with the NFC Championship game, we're not going to overpay. I have said that from the beginning.
You're going to have to pay the market. It don't matter.
We will not
overpay.
We will not.
You got to pay what that man's agent is going to walk in that room or get on that phone, and he's going to tell Lynch market value. That's it. Market value. That's what you got to give that man.
Okay. Well, we're going to see. It'll be interesting.
Think you're going to plug and play somebody else in there? You know what? Look at what he's done in the 2 years he's quarterback for your team. In the year and a half since he started for that team. Look what that man has done. He's been healthy. He's won you games. He got you to an NFC Championship. most likely would have got you into a Super Bowl had he not gotten hurt in that game, and got you to a Super Bowl the following year, which only verified the fact that he would have won the championship game against the Eagles had he played, okay? Got you there, and not only how he got you there last year, but he won with grit, he won with poise, both in the Green Bay game and Detroit game. And this man has played very well and did not lose. He wasn't Garoppolo lost Super Bowls for you. Garoppolo lost games for you, okay? So if you think you're going to plug and play somebody, if that was the case, Shanahan would have had a Super Bowl already if it was just that easy. And it's not. And so I'm telling you, D, you're going to have to pay this man and you're going to restructure the contract. What you're concerned is he ain't going to have no money. But I trust Lynch. He knows what he's doing. He'll make sure the guys who need to be there will be there. Other guys you can plug and play. You better. Pearsall's going to have to get coached up. Jennings he's already pretty much there as a really good. I think he's beyond a serviceable receiver. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's in an echelon of the good receivers today, but he's a good receiver. You got him. You get another. I don't know who your backup tight ends or something. Make it work. That's what Shanahan will work his stuff out. That's what you just got to get. That's all. And make sure your defense stays legit. That's it. And because
you're saying that like, oh, just make sure.
All right,
but we need players on the defensive end, and we got to pay them, right? But listen, we will see.
Bosa's already paid. Bosa ain't going nowhere.
Bosa needs help. Bosa needs help. Bosa needs. So
you're going to bring in a couple veteran guys.
I mean, we got Floyd has been playing really well. He actually has played well. I don't know what his contract. Floyd.
Okay,
Leonard Floyd.
What Floyd is. Let me tell you.
Yeah, he's been playing well.
Leonard Floyd. He's got one more year in his deal. He signed a 2-year deal. He just signed one last year. So it's 24. He started his contract 24 to end of 25. It's a $20 million contract. It was $10 million per year. He got $12 million in guaranteed. So that was it. That's what he got at the signing. So he's got roughly another $8 million or so left on his deal, and that's it. I think there's some incentives in there because they have $12 million in practical guarantee. But at the end of the day, if these guys have been paid already and their guarantee money is up, most of these guys can go. But he could, if you say he's good like he is, Floyd, then Floyd will get in there. It's all good.
Yeah, he's been productive.
Yeah, he's been productive. He's 31 too. So he's anything over 30, you get in there. He's got 8 years in the league. At some point, right? So you're not signing him to no long-term deal. Anybody over 30, they're not getting no more than a 2-year deal, D. That's it. 2 years at the most.
But those 2 year, those little Band-Aid deals, you know what that does? Those Band-Aid deals put us in win now mode, which I'm all for. I want to win now, right?
Yeah, you do. Of course.
But if you don't win now, you still are kicking the can. Everybody
kicks the can, D. Every team.
Everybody doesn't kick the can. There are some teams that are able to pivot through the draft, through realizing that if they get free agents, they have now, from a standpoint of what the largest cap hit is, and then we'll move on. The largest cap hit, if you look at the teams that are successful now, right? There are teams where some of the players are being underpaid for the position, have not received their big payday yet. They are benefiting from that, right? A handful of maybe 3 or 4 of the teams that are in the playoffs, those quarterbacks ain't getting $55 million. I mean, think about it. Minnesota, Sam Darnold ain't getting nowhere near $55 million, right?
No, he's not.
He's a serviceable quarterback, but look at their record, right? You got obviously the Texans, right? He's on a rookie deal. You got Jaden Daniels. He's a rookie. He ain't getting paid no money. You have, there are teams where you can, yes, and those are anomalies that Jaden Daniels was going to be that good that fast. But there are teams, even Atlanta. We're talking about Atlanta and how bad Kirk Cousins is. They have an opportunity, and it's a weak division. I know it, but they still have an opportunity to win that division and be in the playoffs with a serviceable bridge quarterback.
Okay,
so clearly,
what are you calling? So what are you implying here?
I'm implying that you don't need to pay top dollar for a quarterback to be successful. You can. It is more important the team around said quarterback,
right? But you have to pay a top dollar to a quarterback who is performing at a top dolber level. I agree with you in theory, but
not $60 million. I don't think Brock Purdy personally
top paid quarterback at $60 million.
Personally, Brock Purdy is top 10 for sure. And at times he's played top 5, in my opinion.
Yeah, because he was one time in the running for an MVP last year.
Correct.
Okay, so
but what I'm saying is, if I'm honest and I'm assessing what I see and who he would potentially face, not only on the NFC side, getting deep into playoffs, NFC championship game, but who he could potentially face in the Super Bowl if we get there. And when you think about the quarterbacks that he would potentially have to play against that have the ability to put up a high octane offense, you're going to have either a team around said quarterback to keep up, or you're going to have to get cheaper at the position.
But D, but what I'm saying though is that your defense is not a bad defense. So if you keep Warner, you got Hargrove, you keep some of the key
He's been
guys.
out. Hargrave is out, and he's been out.
But I'm saying, but again, these are teams that y'all are ranked 5th in defense. D, did you know that?
Oh, I did.
5th in defense.
I did.
Overall defense.
Yeah, okay, and what happened? So yes,
what
I'm saying is our offense has never been the problem. We get up, but our whole season we lose it in the 4th quarter. We can't stop teams from scoring. So that might be a defensive scheme. I do think the defensive coordinator needs to go, but something about that defense is not holding teams when it counts. When it comes down to the last quarter, last drive to stop a team and hold off the lead.
Because your offense hasn't been able to score. Because again, now you don't have your CMC, you don't have your Ayuk. So you weren't going to be an explosive offense. As good as Purdy has been, right? And I agree with you. He still has to have weapons around him. Every quarterback needs weapons. But what I'm saying is that when you look at the completeness of your team, if they're healthy, you got the right people around, what you saw last year, you saw the year before. That's what Lynch is going to maintain. He's going to make sure that team remains a Super Bowl caliber team. And so as long as you have that, you'll have enough to either outscore Buffalo or keep them or keep the Niners in contention where you don't have to outscore them, because you'll have a defense that could probably stop and at least, play really well against them. Now, last year, your defense was the worst it's ever been since the days of John Harbaugh. All right. That was a bad defense because Wilkes didn't get it right at all. So, but yet you're in the Super Bowl, and yet your Purdy overcame a bad defense by scoring points and making heroic plays and getting good drives. So I'm saying you're going to.
He didn't do that by himself. I mean, he had a really great on the offensive side of the ball. We had a top-notch team. In every position.
You'll have that. Why won't you have that next year? You'll have that. CMC will still be there. Mason will be there. Persall, who's a rookie, will probably.
Well, what has Persall done in the last 3 games?
Depending upon how he looks after his injury, huh?
Ayuk has every cell gone. MCL, PCL.
He said every cell gone.
Every cell is gone. So we don't know. We're thinking I can't. The prognosis is not he's going to be back at the start of next season.
The way these guys come back today in today's NFL and sports in general, guys usually come back pretty decent.
I pray so. We're going to need him. We're going to need him.
He'll be.
What hurt is he had him and Purdy and Ayuk had such a great connection. Now all of a sudden, you said it was only because now you want us to rely on Ayuk, who you said for the last 2 years was not a number one receiver. But now
he's not a number one receiver.
But now you're saying
he's a weapon. He's a weapon.
Yeah, but we're not going to have. But we're not going to have Debo. All the people that you said was ahead of him, we're not going to have them anymore. So then what?
Why? What do you mean? All the people you're going to have you're going to still have. Only guy you probably going to.
Debo is not going to be there. Debo is gone.
Got another year in this contract.
Okay, but we're not going to be able to keep Debo.
So what?
Nor would we want to.
Anyway, what has Debo done? Debo ain't do nothing, and still walking in.
But when I told you,
radio and saying like, bro, you don't lost the right to do that. You don't.
But I understand that. But when I told you that Ayuk was the number one receiver, you were like, nah, he's number 4 on the depth chart. Remember that? Yeah. You remember this conversation?
I remember.
You said he's the 4th best player. Now you're telling me pay Purdy $60 million and depend on the fourth best player to carry you into the future. You're not making sense.
No, the D. Here's the thing. When you look at Ayuk, right, who Purdy has chemistry with. Now, when you compare Ayuk to the landscape of other number one receivers, no, I don't think he's on their level. Not at all.
You didn't have him even the number one on our team.
Players. But what I'm saying is that Debo isn't performing because Debo is getting longer the tooth. A lot of mileage on him. His body doesn't sustain. He can't stay healthy. So his level of production has nothing to do with Ayuk. It just has to do with the fact that he's overran, overworked, and he's tired in all intents and purposes. So you're not getting anything from Debo. So Debo is not in the equation next year. It's not going to hurt the Niners, but so much. That's a guy who you can plug and play with somebody else, that position. Trust me, Kyle Shanahan will get somebody in there who can block, who can run the ball just the same way he found Mason. He's going to find another Debo Samuels somewhere along the way. So that had nothing to do with Ayuk. All I'm saying is that Ayuk and him, Purdy, that's chemistry. So you got Jennings, you got Purcell. You're still going to have Kittles has another year in his contract.
Hopefully right? Conway steps
up. And Kittles is only 26 years old, by the way. Okay? Kittles is young. No, I mean, I didn't even know he was that young. He's young. He's young.
You sure he's 26? I don't think so.
That's what it says here.
I don't know. I think he's 26? Nah. No. Let me look up stuff myself because that seems like fake news. Ain't no way he's 26.
Like fake news to you? No, he's 31.
Exactly. I'm like 26.
Hold on. Let me see.
Thank you.
I was looking at the wrong one. Okay,
our team.
No, he was 26 at the age of the signing. I'm sorry. That's his age at signing. My fault.
Jesus. Yes. He's
31.
That team. Yeah. There are players. Our team. We got Trent is 37. Debo is approaching 30. I think CMC might be 29. I think Debo's going to be 29. Our team is starting to lean towards, especially when you're factoring in that teams like the Rams, super young. I think they're the second youngest team.
Right.
You got Green Bay, who has everyone's 17 on that team. So we're going to have to compete and stay young and cheap.
But you can still stay young, D, but you still got a franchise quarterback. You don't think you need to lock up a franchise quarterback?
We need to lock him up. So my thing is that we won't be able to do both. We can't pay high-end receivers and a quarterback the high. Because think about this.
You signed the high-end receiver to play with his career with Purdy.
I got it.
Ayuk is still young.
He is. He's young. Jordan Love got paid, right? Jordan Love got paid big money. Yeah. But all his receivers ain't making no money. So yes, they can put the money towards him because he's the friend. And just remember, he sat for how many years, right? And got
a year. Yeah.
No, more than a year, right?
Jordan Love, I think he only sat a year.
I thought he sat for 2 years.
No, because he started last year when Rodgers left. After Rodgers left.
No. How many years did he sit under Rodgers?
He only sat, what was it, 2 years? Let me see. Hold on.
That's what I'm saying. He sat 2 years under Rodgers because remember Rodgers wanted help and they drafted Jordan Love. And then Rodgers, they was acting like, I don't know if I want to retire. He got them with another $50 million. Yeah, absolutely. He had time to sit under a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
Yet, so they had to pay him because he showed glimpses. He showed how good he was, and very similar to Purdy. But the difference is the other parts, the other skilled players, skilled positions aren't getting top dollar. They're not in the top 5. Right. Purdy, if he gets, let's say, top 5 quarterback money or beyond, as you suggest, and you got already a number 1 or top 2, top 3 running back getting paid. You got a receiver that's top 5 getting paid. You got a tight end that's top 3, top 5. It's not sustainable. You're going to have me and you going to make up the rest of the team. All I'm saying is you got to have a team around him to be successful. And that doesn't happen if you pay him top of the market.
D, the way you can structure contracts today and contract you can offload, trust me, they will get it done. Because again, Green Bay was able to do it, to your point, which is a good point. But again, Green Bay is really not in almost, if you think about Green Bay Packers for all intents and purposes, right? they're not in a win mode. They're not a win now team. I don't think they are. I think Green Bay is progressed to being a playoff team, which they are, but they're not on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl.
Did you remember what they did to the Cowboys last year?
What that mean? What that mean?
So I mean, I don't understand. What do you mean? You said,
but I don't think that they're not.
You
better
said that we barely
and they're not
beat
better
them.
than a healthy 49er team. If a healthy 49er team was before us today, Green Bay wouldn't be better than them. Green Bay is a good team. They're a playoff team. Yeah, they dismantled us, but I mean, beating us in the playoffs ain't
listen. You said we were lucky. You said we were lucky to beat them last year. You remember that?
I said Purdy played well, and I mean they did make some mistakes. It was some bad interception on that drive with the Love, which was bad. But again, they are not on the same level as the Niners. If the Niners are healthy, I'm talking about this year's team Niners, right? And they're healthy. This team will beat the Packers.
I agree. But we're not healthy.
If they come back next year healthy, they will still be better than the Niners. I mean, better than the Packers. So the Packers are not a win. When you say win now, to me, that means you first got to be the most dominant team at least, or top two in your division. I mean, in your conference, at least. They're not there. They're not better than Detroit. They're not better than a healthy Niner team. And who else would we say that's in that?
Minnesota's in that. They're not better than Minnesota?
I think they're better than Minnesota.
Well, listen, I can't believe we talked about the Niners for this long.
Yeah, because you're trying to pay Purdy.
Yeah, but no, because you want Purdy to get. We have people saying he needs to get 70 million euros, which is more than the dollar. You're saying, listen.
And look. And KB said Ayuk is not a number one receiver. And you're right.
I don't even know. Are you talking about Ayuk?
I mean, Ayuk. What's all we were talking about today? Ayuk is not a number one receiver. He's not. He has yet to prove that. He's not. And he said it. Okay.
We don't even know. Listen, so that's more of the case why we have to make sure that we have a really good team around
plug and play guys. You're going to plug and play somebody behind Trent. You're going to get another tight end.
Euros.
Euros. You're going to be able to play pounds, but you can't do that to your quarterback.
Euro. Okay, so euro. 70 million euro. What that's fine.
What does that equate? James, what does 70 million euro equate to in American dollars?
More than 60 million.
He might get that, D.
Yeah, okay.
Why would you deny him that?
Yo, I'm gonna suggest we pay him in Bitcoin. Let's pay him in Bitcoin. Let's pay him in Bitcoin. If he wants to get paid, we will give him money in Bitcoin.
Yes, man. You know, I'll tell you, Purdy.
Don't give him 10 coins. Give him 10 coins.
And he's
give him 10 coins and say 100 forthcoming. Right? Give him the 7 coins and say the rest forthcoming. And just walk off.
Right. That's it. Just tap the basket.
Negotiation.
We're gonna tap the basket in negotiation.
Right.
In the rest
forthcoming. Just walk off.
That's it. Listen.
Oh man.
Yeah, I can't believe you, D. Dag, man. Purdy's not gonna give you an autograph, man. You ain't gonna be able to get a picture with him or nothing.
I am a fan. I have defended Brock Purdy.
Oh, you have not.
I was at the first game. I was at the first game that he ever got in when Jimmy G against Miami. We were both at that game. When Jimmy G got hurt, Brock came in, and the rest was history. I was there for that. I was in the stands. I witnessed it. And I have been a fan of Brock Purdy. And I have said I've been consistent. This is not a new concept. I said we can't hamstring our team to pay Brock Purdy. We just can't do it.
You're not Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, D.
Y'all got money. Y'all just don't want to spend it. That's the difference.
Listen, we're a business. You're thinking like a business. You shouldn't be thinking like a business. You should be thinking like a Super Bowl champion team. You're a football team first. The Niners are a football team. They've been well ran back from the Eddie DeBartolo days up to now. You've made good choices for the most part. You brought in good coaches. You drafted well. You've been in 2 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. You've been in NFC Championship games. That's what, 88 million?
Yeah. No, yeah, listen. No way. If you guys, hey, listen,
that much.
if you want to take a GoFundMe and add it to do a GoFundMe and get him the rest of that money.
You're not going to hamstrung your team. I'm telling you, you're not going to do it. They're going to make sure the guys get paid. You're going to have to offload contracts anyway. So this is the time to do it. So Purdy can get paid. Okay, you're not going into this season and diss that man and not give him his money, and much less bring in a Kirk Cousins. Really? Yo, the Niner fans will up. They will. You thought the Capitol was under attack? You think there was an insurrection in DC?
Listen,
watch what happened in Levi Stadium if y'all bring in a Kirk Cousins.
Go on X and see what Niner fans are saying. Go on X and see what Niner fans are saying.
I know what I need to do.
If you think that everyone's just like, yo, pay the man, just write the check. Everybody, it's mixed. It's mixed feelings.
They don't know. They're not understanding football. You know why? Y'all are unappreciative, and it just goes to show that the Niner fans are saying he shouldn't get paid are fans that are unappreciative. They sung his praises. They bigged him up as Mr. Irrelevant, who now soared to be one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Now you don't want to pay the man, but you loved him when he was getting you into a Super Bowl, and you used him as an excuse.
Wait a minute. All I'm saying is, he was hurt. What's so hard about saying he's a really good quarterback to great? He's
good quarterback's gonna get you into a Super Bowl, D.
What I'm saying is, well, you can be good in
Super Bowl in a row, and came in the middle of the season with no training camp, didn't play with the starters. Okay, came in, had to learn the system, and balled out. Y'all didn't lose a game until the championship game when he took over. Came in, Mr. Irrelevant, the last drafted player in the NFL, came in the middle of the year and took over that team and brought y'all to a championship game that y'all still to this day use an excuse that y'all only lost because he got hurt. Could you imagine that you can say that we only lost because the last guy who got drafted in the NFL draft did not play because he was hurt? That's the only reason why the Eagles won? Who would ever think such a thing would come out of anybody's mouth? It's now you don't want to pay the man. And the man went and got to, and he did it again. It was, well, we don't know. They got tape on him now, film on him now. He's going to be, it ain't going to be the same. You know what I'm trying to say? He's going to probably now start to get back and snap back into who he really is and why he was drafted last in the draft. And what did that man do? That man took them all the way to a Super Bowl. He didn't flinch. He had millions of eyes on him. Played under pressure, and he scored. And you're going to say he's a good to average or average to good?
No. I didn't say that. I didn't say he's
good to great.
He's a good to great quarterback. He's a good to great quarterback. He
don't have the talent, but neither did Brady. Purdy don't have the talent of Josh Allen and Mahomes, but that don't mean that but at the end of the day, and I'm not saying he's on their level, but particularly Mahomes. But what did Josh Allen do that Purdy hasn't done? Did not Purdy accomplish more in the NFL than Josh Allen has?
He has.
All right. So I don't understand. And you think you should bring in Kirk?
So you know what happens? The difference is Josh Allen's team. It is a team game. It's not tennis.
He doesn't have a good
it's not
team.
golf.
He doesn't have a good
it's
team.
not it. You're talking about Buffalo in comparison to the Niners?
Yeah, in comparison to the Niners. So what are you trying to say?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What? They're not. Are they better or worse? What are you saying?
The Niners healthy and Buffalo the way it is now?
Yeah.
Buffalo 100% and the Niners 100%? Not close. Not close. The only thing that would be close.
You're saying in Purdy, but you don't think that team was still good enough to get to a Super Bowl at least? The Buffalo
AFC,
Bills
we wouldn't see them until the Super Bowl.
But what I'm saying is that Purdy has accomplished more than Josh Allen.
Yeah, because you have to go through Mahomes.
Okay, right.
And everyone that goes through Mahomes.
Purdy lost to Mahomes. Yeah. And so did right. And he did as well. Right. I see your point. I see where you're trying to do the equivalency there.
Right.
Okay,
so imagine just think about this.
Right. That's fair.
If Purdy was in the AFC, right?
Yeah.
Think about the quarterbacks that he would potentially have to go head to head with, right? Yeah. Even to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The NFC, we're talking, all right, NFC with our team balling out, we rock, we can beat, we used to dominate teams, we used to run all over teams. I just want to make sure that we have that kind of team around Purdy. But I don't think from a standpoint of, and I don't think it's far-fetched because Patrick Mahomes, yes, he has the hardware, but Patrick Mahomes is making $45 million. What's the problem? But he's able to keep these great players around him because he's taking $45 million. The best player, arguably whoever played, is only getting paid $45 million a year. So and he's the best player. He is more valuable to Kansas City and the Hunt family than Brock Purdy is to the Niners. And he's only taking $45 million. So why are you suggesting? Because remember, everyone was talking about Danny Dimes was only making $5 million less than the best quarterback to ever play. What leads you to believe that Brock Purdy needs to make $15 million more a year than Patrick Mahomes?
Well, like Papa said, so you don't pay Brock because he's not Mahomes.
No. I'm saying there is a certain logic to success and winning. If you're able to get paid and keep a championship type team, that bodes well the most for success. If you're successful, you're going to get your money. You're going to keep getting money. What I'm saying is if you go all in to get $60 million, you're going to lose those players that have helped you and assisted. And some people say the reason why you have been so successful. Now, if Patrick Mahomes, who has the supreme talent, is smart enough to know that, Tom Brady, who always could have got more but took less, understood that. Why are we saying now, Brock Purdy, you should go for the gusto because you had this, and this level of success? That doesn't make sense for the team. And I'm not trying to belittle or screw him over when it comes time to pay him, but we have to be smart about what we do with our cap and the team as a whole that is surrounded around him.
I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, both of the dynamics of those teams, from my vantage point, were very different. Mahomes was able to take a pay cut after getting a $500 million contract, right? Mm-hmm. He restructured some things because, again, the team was already there, right? They was already there, already in place. He needed to be able to keep certain pieces going, right? You lose,
mm-hmm.
They couldn't keep Hill. So you got other pieces, guys that are able to come in who usually bring in these receivers, the dude from Pittsburgh, you brought him in or whatever,
mm-hmm.
Now you got Hopkins in here now, right?
You wanted to make sure you kept Kelsey, right?
Right. You wanted to make sure you kept Kelsey.
And you wanted to keep the
cornerback over there that they had as well, I think.
And also the defense, the main guy that
Chris Jones. Right.
Yeah. You want to keep him, so you want to, and he held out because he wanted to get paid more money.
And which they ended up, I don't know. Did he ever get his money or he just came back?
He got paid. Oh, no. He got paid.
Right.
Absolutely.
So he got paid. Right. But what I'm saying, D, is that the Niners, though, they're young, they're older. So what you're really going to do, you're not going to bring in, Shanahan is not going to bring in veteran players. Mahomes and the Chiefs need veterans. They don't need young guys. They need veterans to a degree. Even though you got Rice and a few other guys that's young or whatever have you, but for the most part, there's only a few little positions here and there. As it relates to the Niners, you can bring in young talent, bring in those guys, and they can still ball out. And you're not going to lose anything because the way that their team has to be built, the Niners that is different than what the Chiefs had to build, because the Chiefs already had they had those guys already under contract playing well. It was just a matter of having certain weapons for Mahomes and just some key people on defense. That's it. But it's different for y'all because y'all are a young team. After this year, you're going to go young. You're going young. So it's different. You don't need to sacrifice for young guys you're going to just draft.
So we're saying the same thing. If we do it through the draft, I'm all good with that. You can pay Purdy, but we ain't going to be able to do both. We're not going to be able to have high expensive players and pay Purdy $60+ million. Our team will be decimated. That's my point. So if you want to draft a whole bunch of players and get young and then put the majority or a big chunk of the cap on the quarterback, cool. That means that he has to be good enough to elevate these rookies now. There's no veterans around him.
I'll tell you right now, Purdy is not taking anything less than $55 million. He's not getting $45 million. He's going to get $40. Them numbers sound ridiculous. They're not even going to waste time if they even try to come lowball them with a number like that. His agents are not going to waste time with that. They're not. There's no way. I don't care. Team and no team, you're going to find a way as a capologist, as a GM, to sign your franchise quarterback and make sure that that's what you do. Because at the end of the day, that's what the Chiefs have. Out of all the players that they got to keep in and out and keep around, Mahomes had already proven who he is and what he brings to the table. So again, he's got the cachet to do that. And at the end of the day, nobody is they don't care if they had no salary cap. As long as that man is paid, we got a chance to win. That's all that matters. Now, with Purdy, he's not on the level of Mahomes. Yes, he needs help. But at the end of the day, D, you cannot deny this man and think he's going to get way below market value because you got to keep other guys paid and other guys around. It's not going to happen. In fact, they're going to take cuts for what they need to do at the end of the day if anything else happens. But if Purdy takes less than $50 million a year, then yeah, somebody got in his ear and said, listen, take less so we can keep the team competitive. That's what they're going to end up trying to tell him, which I think would be a bad move on his part. Because that man played at a discount. A discount. He didn't play.
Whoa. He didn't play at a discount, Rod. That was when he was drafted. You act like he was on if you're a last pick in the draft.
He didn't outplay his contract, D?
He outplayed it. But that's different than playing on a discount. That's different.
Okay, I agree.
He didn't play on a discount, right?
I agree. That's the wrong term.
He surpassed his draft.
Surpassed his contract, not a discount.
He was drafted. Right. He didn't play on the discount.
Okay, no, he didn't play.
He's going to play on a discount on that contract when he gets $60 million. That's when the discount double check's going to come in when he gets that.
I'm telling you, he said. Listen.
Aaron Rodgers, you available? No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. Let's move on.
You ain't a little.
No. He's finished.
Oh yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is finished.
Yeah, he's finished. That's good for the Jets. I'm glad it's good for him and the Jets. I'm glad. I'm glad. I don't like Rodgers. I like.
Let's talk about. We've spent a ton of time on the Niners. Let's talk about real quick that hit on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
3 game suspension for that hit, and yeah, it was a dirty hit.
It was.
But what do you say about Tom Brady? He had something to say about it that it is, and we've discussed this, and I'm glad it came full circle. A couple of weeks ago, as everyone watched the game when we played, the Niners played Kansas City.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes ran to the sideline as if he was going out of bounds and giving himself up.
Right.
And then because defensive players are programmed not to hit the quarterback because of fines and possible suspensions and ejections, they rate like kind of slowed up on him and didn't hit him. He used that opportunity and ran down the sideline for an additional, 15 yards or something.
Right.
And Rod thought that was just a headsy play. Smart. He was, cerebral. He was, intellectual giant. He was, everything you can think of about how great of a play that was. And so Tom Brady, given the situation with Trevor Lawrence, said that offensive players, quarterbacks in particular, need to maybe perhaps be fined for those fakes, right? Because the defense in those situations are always the ones who are punished. And the offensive player, it's not fair. In order for it to be equitable and fair, it needs to be, okay, I need to slide and I need to get down, right? Yeah, we understand that Trevor Lawrence is a tall player, but I need to get down. And if I'm going out of bounds and I'm going to pretend like I'm giving myself up only to fake the defensive player out and run another 15 yards, it needs to be a penalty, or if someone hits me, it's just fair game. And so I want to, get your opinion on that. And this is arguably the GOAT saying this. Now, you do consider the source when people say something. Tom Brady did benefit from a lot of, being coddled as a quarterback, and the tuck rule and all of these things. They have made rules to protect Tom Brady. And so, but I guess sometimes hindsight is 20/20, right? He can see now that the game overall has softened up and it is catering too much. Sometimes things can correct too much. And I think they have corrected too much to protecting the quarterback and offensive players to the point where now players can fake and stuff like that. And then when they get hit, because when you come out of that pocket, rule number one is now you're a running back. You can get hit like a running back can get hit, whether you're a quarterback or whatever else. And now all of a sudden for this to now cost, the player 3 games and they're in a playoff push, right? They're trying to win their division and they're trying to make a push into the playoffs. I just think it was excessive. And I know he's had a few off the field things and different games, punching players and stuff. I think it was excessive. 3 games is a lot, especially this time of the year. What do you say?
Well, no, I think 3 games is nothing really. I mean, look, suspending these players don't really mean much with the millions of dollars they make. I don't know what his contract is, but at the end of the day, it's not hurting. I think suspensions don't even equate to whatever the penalty is or the infraction is. Honestly, I thought he should have been suspended. Anybody who makes a hit like that should be gone for the year. And here's why I say,
well,
every team has a quarterback. Every team has a quarterback. Whether we like it or not, a quarterback is the most important position in football. Everybody has it. Without the quarterback, you don't win. Okay? No matter who you are, what team you are, if you are in the NFL, college level, high school, anything, the quarterback is key. Every team has one. It's not like one team has a quarterback and another team doesn't. When you are a defender and you are playing against a quarterback, you got to think about your team. You have a quarterback too. Do you want to see your quarterback get hit like that? What if your quarterback gets laid out like that and now he's concussed and he's out games, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want that. So you want to protect the quarterback because why? You have a quarterback and you want your quarterback to be protected and get the same protection rights that the quarterback you're playing against has. So that's the thing. That hit was inexcusable, nasty hit, inexcusable. Like you say, he had other issues and again, he's had other kind of infractions. So clearly something, the dude ain't got it all up there. I'm just saying, okay? I was disappointed in him. I was disappointed in DeMeco Ryans and even sticking up for him. That showed no class to me at all for the game of football. I know that's your guy. I know you got to support him. That, to me, was not saying you slid late. He didn't slide late. Anybody got eyes can see. He slid. There was no reason for him to come in. First of all, you don't have to come in like that the way he came in. Now, I'm gonna get to Brady and I'm gonna get to this whole thing about Mahomes and how he does the witty things that he does, which I think is a good thing. But here's the key: when you talk about Brady, and you already said it, D. I don't even need to regurgitate. Okay, Brady. Oh God, you just said how the rules favor Brady. A lot of what we see today in the NFL is because of what happened to Brady. Okay, so Brady should be the last one to say anything. First of all, Brady, you never ran. You didn't scramble anywhere. You was no threat with your legs whatsoever. I could see that coming maybe from a Cam Newton or Randall Cunningham or Michael Vick. Not you, Brady. Okay, you never ran nowhere. Okay, and you still got protected. You had more protections for a non-running quarterback like Brady than the quarterbacks that actually were mobile. Okay, and was subject themselves to getting hit. Not Brady. So Brady's comment, trash. Okay, like I say, 50 years from now, it's all going to come out, the documentary, how they cheated, him and Belichick, because I just think they cheated all the way through the whole thing with the dynasty. So anyway, that's that. But when you talk about what we talk about with Mahomes, D, Mahomes does that basically on the sideline. I don't know if I haven't seen it. Maybe you got footage where he would fake a slide in the middle of the field, per se. I don't know. I can't recall him doing that. I know the sideline, he does get witty with that and that kind of thing. But basically, if you're running up on him on the sideline, technically, you're still not going to blow him up. You're going to basically just trying to guide him out of bounds, or you're going to just kind of push him right out of bounds. You're not trying to blow his head off while he's running out of bounds. So my thing is why fall for the fake? Don't even run for that kind. Just kind of, get an angle on him and just stand there and make sure he doesn't go anywhere. What you do is you try to get to that sideline before he does, and then you have to just kind of learn to pace yourself. The game has changed now, D. Defensive players know now how to play and let up. I'm not saying that the game isn't still moving fast and that guys still may not have total control over their bodies when they're running full speed the way that they are. But the way the game now has been for the last 10 years or 15 years or so, guys are trained now. Guys understand they've been learning the new system since high school or even in junior high school. They understand. And a guy like you got film on Mahomes, you know what he's capable of. You got to be able to understand. Because D'Amico Ryans is at fault, Papa, because you can't justify that. That was a bad hit and just say, yo, he shouldn't have made that hit. That was a bad hit. But you can't say, oh, he slid too early. Like, come on. We all saw what
I think he was. No, I don't know if he was blaming.
He said it go both ways. Ain't no both ways with that.
Let me tell you the both ways. Was the Jaguars bench overreacted. They started to defend their teammate, and the bench is cleared. And I think part of that whole melee was the reason why, or aided the reason why the suspension was so harsh. I do think if it was, and the fact that, he was.
That hit didn't look vicious.
It was vicious.
Was the reason why they jumped off the sidelines and came to defend the player.
I think they call that fencing. He was fencing after the hit.
Yeah.
The arms locked out.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that was a vicious hit. There was no reason for him to hit him like that. There's no way. There's no reason for that. So no, look, there's no excuse for that dude. I would have suspended him for that. Would have been my vote. He gone for the year. Anybody get hit like that, you gone for the year. Like I said, both teams got quarterbacks. Think of your quarterback. Do you want your quarterback to get hit like that? Because guess what's going to happen? It's going to be like pitchers in baseball. You hit my guy, I'm going to hit your guy. That's how we're going to do it. And that's what you're going to end up getting.
Well, that's what happens anyway, though, right? I mean,
but it's going to be illegal. But it's going to be illegal. Like, you don't want your quarterback to get hit illegally. Now, if he gets sacked or something like that, or he gets pressured and your guy comes in and he released the ball and he still gets hit, maybe he gets hit with the helmet a little bit. It's not necessarily maybe that. In those situations might be a little different. But I'm talking about a dirty hit. That was a dirty hit. Dude did not have to hit him like that. There was no reason to hit him like that. He was already sliding. Okay, so that's just my take on it.
Well, I mean, I think they balanced it out because Trevor Lawrence is done for the season. He was already injured. The concussion just put him over the top. He already had an AC joint issue, and so they decided to just sit him down for the year. Yeah, he's done. So they got and now I think his name is Azier or whatever his name is.
Jacksonville?
No, the person that got suspended.
Oh, Azier or something like that.
Azier, yeah. He's gone for 3 games. So I think it is
he should have been gone for the rest of the year.
I don't think so. I think that would have been excessive. It would completely at some point, when do you just put flags on them, right? I mean, if the defensive player can't hit you, then we might as well just put flags on it. Everyone just play flag football. I mean, where is the? I mean,
if a quarterback is upright, he can get his clock clean with a clean tackle. If he's upright, but if he's sliding, I mean, that's just what you're going to have to get adjusted to. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know James. He's an ex-Niner, so I mean,
Oh, D'Amico's the next one. Yeah, like Papa said, he would have put.
No. The Azier or whatever.
Oh, Azier. He played with y'all. Okay.
He played with the Niners, yeah. And D'Amico kind of pulled him over there. I think. I think it'll all work out. I mean, at the end of the day, Jaguars weren't going anywhere, and I'm not diminishing that hit and saying, oh, y'all wasn't going to go to the playoffs anyway. Who cares? But I think it impacts a team who has an opportunity to win their division and has an opportunity to go to the playoffs. Now, CJ Stroud has taken a step back. I think part of that has to do with the protection on the offensive line. And I think part of it is the fact that, Nico Collins was hurt and out for that time. So that kind of impacted the offense as a whole, because when Nico Collins is playing, that offense is different. It's a different offense. So I think, they're on a bye this week. I think they'll be poised to come back and, make a push, to go deep in the playoffs. Real quick, before we wrap up, let's talk about the Eagles. Listen, both of us were wrong.
We were.
The Eagles are official. They're an official team. And I want to say this. Baltimore is fraudulent. For whatever reason, I don't know. In big games, there is something. Lamar Jackson, for whatever reason, he freezes. I don't know if it's in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
His mind is not communicating to his legs. But I saw countless times where there was nothing but green grass. And all he had to do, I think he still had 70 yards rushing.
Yeah.
He could have had 170 yards rushing.
Yeah, easily.
There were spaces where he could have extended the drive. And what did he do? He froze. He tried to stay in the pocket. He had happy feet. He was looking, and he has the legs to keep a play and a drive going. He just, and then, at the press conference, my mama told me. I'm like, yo, listen. My mama said, alligators are so ornery because they got all those teeth and no toothbrush. I'm like, yo, listen,
his agent.
His mom's his agent, but listen, we don't want to hear that after the game. I mean, I don't have him on my fantasy team or anything, but I'm saying we don't want to hear that after the game, and I'm sure Raven fans don't want to hear that. They want you to do what instinctively to do. When you see every DB, everyone's back is turned to you, then and you see nothing but open lanes, run. And for whatever reason, I don't know why he got away from that. Now, if you go back to the game that they played with Kansas City, not this year. Same thing.
He didn't run. Yeah,
he refused to run. It was like, hey, I want to show that I'm a pocket quarterback. I don't know what it was, but I don't know if it was he just froze. It knows, or it seemed like, man, this is so wide open. I don't know what to do. Sometimes you have those issues where it's so easy. You just can't do it. And shout out to the Eagles. You guys look really, really serious. And I will say this again. You guys go as far as Saquon Barkley takes you. If it wasn't for Saquon, I'm telling you, Saquon, who has almost 1,500 yards rushing, is the difference. I don't see it with Hurts. Even when you have, AJ Brown, of course, Devontae Smith has been in and out. Goddard, I think, maybe going to IR. The constant for this team this year, your success is directly correlated to Saquon Barkley. He is the difference. He is the difference. Now, I know Scrap will say something
their defense
different.
has gotten better, though, too.
Their defense is good, but
way better. But Vic Fangio did a number.
Their defense is doing amazing. But when you're playing teams that can put up points against you, right? Because somehow teams still score, right? So it's not like they're holding teams to, 10 points. Teams can still score, and as you get deeper in the playoffs, you're going to play teams that could potentially put up points, right? You would have to perhaps play a Detroit or a Green Bay or a team that can actually score. And listen, Saquon, that is something that will help you throughout the playoffs. The run game travels, the defense travels. You have a serviceable quarterback. If Jalen Hurts doesn't see anything, he extends the drive. He runs. That's something that Lamar Jackson should be doing, but he doesn't do it. What do you say?
No, you're right. I think, Saquon is clearly the difference maker. And again, like I said, the defense is definitely much more improved than what they were the last couple of years. But if you shut down Saquon, which could still happen in the playoffs, right? It depends in how you look at teams that you could run against. I think Detroit losing Hutchinson as far as the pass rush, but I think they're still a good defensive team as far as stopping the run. That's a team that, I still think is better than Philly. They're going to have to go into Philly to win because I don't think that they will end up with home field advantage because Philly just has a much easier record. I mean, a much easier schedule. So I just feel that, you know, the Eagles do look good and they're way legit. I don't think we're going to see the slide or the cliff that we saw last year. They're playing with much more confidence, and Hurts is healthy this year as he was not last year. And yeah, and they're winning without Devontae Smith. They're down a weapon, but they're still making it happen. And you're right, the defense and Saquon. That's really what it is. And so
let me just say this real quick.
Yeah,
and this, I don't think this was the smart move.
Okay.
Al-Shahir, that's the player that was suspended.
Right.
Well, you know, he tried to appeal and it was upheld. And he took to social media Wednesday after the ruling. If you want me to be your villain, I'll be your villain. See you soon. That's not smart. That should be condoned. Should not be condoned. Let me tell you why. They're going to be looking, and you're already impacting your team by not being there for 3 games, right? 3 games from now, we're starting to get towards the playoffs, right?
Yep.
And do you want something ticky-tack to you either get ejected or it be a repeat offender and then throw you out for the rest of the season? I just think, you know, cooler heads should prevail. And I get it, it's social media, so people want to, you know, get their side out. I just think that was, you know, a bad move. Well, James, thanks for joining us, man. Thanks James, for staying up this late with us, man. 3:30.
Yeah. 3:30. Whoa. Yeah, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
We're about to wrap it up. But yeah, I think that was a bad move. I think that was a bad move.
I mean, it just goes to show the level of immaturity. And that's why I said, I don't mean to take a deep dive into that way, but it just kind of goes to show you, like, he's one of those guys who just plays unsmart. And then you see him not making smart decisions even off the field. Right. And so I think sometimes those things correlate in the way you play the game of football. And you just have this mentality that, you know, for whatever it is, you tend to lead either with aggression or anger that's not under, you know, I would say controlled comportment, if that makes sense. And so, comportment, you know, comportment.
Well, listen, we have some good games coming up this week.
Yeah, we got some good games. Who y'all play this week, D? Let me see.
Chicago.
Y'all got Chicago? For real?
Yeah. It's a winnable game.
Chicago.
They'll be here. They'll be here. That's a winnable game. You know, I think we need to still stick to the script, run the ball. Brock Purdy, because of the weapons missing, he doesn't have to be a superstar. Just play within the offense, run the ball, run the pass, right? Run to play action, you know? And I think we'll talk about that on our next show. We'll do our preview.
Next show will be good because Taylor Williams is going to definitely take about at least 4 to 5 20-yard sack losses. So, you know, and don't worry, they'll have another timeout to give. So it's all good. They fired them folks, so who knows? Maybe
they did. They did. And there's some interesting, you know, talk about who's up for that job, and we'll talk all about all of that on our next show. But Rod, I appreciate you doing the show. Once again, everyone, please like, share, subscribe to our Facebook, YouTube page, X, TikTok, you name it, we got it. We thank everyone for joining us, everyone that had comments, you know, Papa J, and you know, of course, James and everybody that hopped on, you know. Canandre, we appreciate it.
What is it? Canandre? I just want to make sure I pronounce his name right.
Canandre, yeah.
Canandre. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's a brother at my church. Yeah.
And so,
so I appreciate all of that. You know, we're going to do it. Yeah. Yes, Terrence, thank you. I appreciate it. We're going to be okay, man. We'll see what's going to happen. We are not out of it yet. Mathematically, listen, Goonies never say die. And so until we are mathematically out of it, I'm not waving the white flag. Now I know it is an uphill battle, but if it were not for who is ahead of us, in Arizona and Seattle, I'm not big believers on them. So can we squeak in and then get our heads tore off? Absolutely. But I don't think the division is still within our grasp, right? Arizona, I mean, at the end of the day, we win against Chicago. You know, Arizona or Seattle lose their game.
Arizona definitely. Yeah, I agree with you.
And we are half a game. We are half a game, maybe a game and a half behind them.
But Nostrils, I think Nostrils is going to find a way to win.
Listen,
Nostrils might.
No. Listen, they should have. If the Jets had anything with them, they should have lost that game.
They should have lost that game. Yeah, no.
Them Nostrils was blowing smoke, and they should have lost. But of course, Aaron Rodgers is washed. That team is washed, and he threw. I mean, that game was. I was looking at it, and I was like, "See, this is the Seattle that I expected." And Arizona, I wasn't surprised. I'm like, "Yeah, this is what I expect." They are not finishers. And I mean, we're in a bad position. But one thing, I mean, I think we're going to put forth effort, and I think Kyle Shanahan kind of hinted that if there is any chance whatsoever that we can win our division, once we're mathematically out of it, I think he's going to rest players and they're going to be done. Excuse me. But if we can, let's say we get to a point where we're just a game behind them, I think the defensive players that are supposed to be coming back, Greenlaw, Hufanga, he may bring them back in. Our defense might get a surge towards the end. Now, it doesn't make sense if we're not going to get in the playoffs, right? Why would you risk those players? But if there's a chance, I think he's going to do it. And we'll see. Time will tell. Chicago, if we lose to Chicago, then it is over. Yeah, then it is over.
Yeah,
then it is over.
Calculator, so you could see for yourself and start, and you'll
know. But it will still depend on what Arizona and
if they happen to lose, then you're still in it. If they keep winning and y'all lose, or if they keep win,
I think if it gets to a point,
keep winning.
They have to, obviously because they're ahead, they just have to win more games than we do down the stretch and just keep that lead. Yeah. So time will tell. Once again, everyone, thanks for joining us. Until next time, Rod, great show.
Thank you, sir.
Peace.
Likewise.